Hello everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar. This is Angela, Company Secretarial Manager from Korchina TNC. Today, we are going to share with you all about Hong Kong company formation and tax exemption. During our webinar, for any questions, you may drop your message on the chat box at the right-hand side. We will answer the questions in Q&A section at the end of our webinar, or share the relevant information afterward. And you can also click the live chat red button on the top to make an appointment with us for further discussion or consultation. In Hong Kong, there are several types of entities can be registered to start a new business here. Limited company is one where its members have limited liability for the debts of the company. A company can be limited by shares or by guarantee. In Hong Kong, the majority of companies are registered as companies limited by shares, and it is the most common types of entities used for small to medium-sized business or trading company in Hong Kong. It is a separate legal entity and therefore protects the personal assets of shareholders from the business liabilities. The liability of the shareholders is limited to the capital originally invested, and there is no nationality requirement and no need to visit Hong Kong for a company setup. The company formation can be done by online submission or paper filing. So today we will introduce to you the key facts about setting up this private limited company by shares. First of all, the limited company mainly deal with two government departments, the Company Registry (CR) and Inland Revenue Department (IRD), and the company limited by shares generally should comply with the company audience, Inland Revenue audience, and business registration audience. For company name, you can design your own name and the company can be incorporated with either an English name, a Chinese name, or both. Basically, a company name is not permitted if it is identical to that of an existing company. There are also restrictions on the use of certain words in relation to government bodies or licensed activities. Moreover, some words and expressions should be requiring the registry approval before they can be used in a company name, like Chamber of Commerce, Trust, Bank, etc. Every private limited company must have at least one director who is a natural person, at least 18 years old, and there is no nationality requirement and no legal maximum for the number of directors. In addition, the sole shareholder can be appointed as director of the company as well. A corporate can also be appointed as corporate director of the Hong Kong company, but still, there must have at least one natural person be an individual director. The private company limited by shares must have at least one member and maximum 50 members. The shareholder can be an individual or a corporate of any nationality. Meanwhile, a director and shareholder can be the same or different person. 100% local or foreign shareholding is allowed. Every limited company is required to appoint a company secretary. The company secretary must be Hong Kong residents or bodies corporate having their registered address in Hong Kong. If a company has only one director, that person cannot also act as secretary of the company. The company secretary is responsible for the company's compliance with its statutory duties. From March in 2018, service provider which providing company secretarial service must be a licensee of Trust or Company Service Providers License, which we call TCSP. If you have no experienced staff who handling the company secretarial issue, you may look for the professional service provider. A local Hong Kong address as the registered address of the Hong Kong company must be provided to company registry. This address must be a physical address and must not be a PO box address. It is commonly accepted that the company can hire local company secretarial firm to provide a local address as well as mail handling service for a Hong Kong company. The Articles of Association (AA) must be registered with the company registry when setting up the Hong Kong company. AA are the rules for the management of the company's internal affairs. Every company's article will be different and the company can be tailor-made its AA based on actual situation, while of course fulfill the audience in Hong Kong. You may also seek for professional advice to create AA of your company to fulfill your specified demand and business needs. Generally, the company will open bank account for business operation purpose after the company incorporate. Here, we will share the basic information when apply for the company bank account in Hong Kong. Please note that the standard and requirement may be different and subject to each bank's policy. Basically, the bank will check all of corporate customers on their background about KYC, Know Your Customer, and KYB, Know Your Business. For KYC, they will check with all of directors, shareholders, and authorized signatories requiring their identity documents and latest address proof, as well as the corporate documents such as certificates of incorporation, business registration certificates, etc. Moreover, bank will require for the business proof to understand KYB. If you have your own existing business, you may provide the latest business proof like invoice or contracts with shipping documents if you are doing trading business. In case the Hong Kong company is your new startup business, you can provide supporting documents explaining your relevant background, experience, and connections in the industry. In general, the whole procedure will take around 1 month and exact time frame is subject to each bank's policy. If the bank requests additional information or documents during the application review, it may take longer time to complete. So here we have shared with you about the summary of Hong Kong Limited Company formation. So now we will move on to the second part of today's webinar. Now we have our Senior Audit Manager, Alan, to share about tax exemption.
Hello, I'm Alan. Today I would like to discuss about the offshore income claim. Unlike most countries, Hong Kong adopts a territorial sources principle of taxation. Only business profits, employment income and property rental income arising in or derived from Hong Kong are subject to Hong Kong profits tax. It applies to both residents and non-residents of Hong Kong. Although the concept of locality of sources of income seems simple, in reality, its application often can be complex. No universal rule can apply to every scenario. Where the business is operated in Hong Kong and where the profits are derived from Hong Kong are determined by facts and depends on the nature of profits as well as of the transaction which give rise to such profits. Not all taxpayers' operations are relevant to determine the source of profits. The key is focusing on the location of profit-generating activities as distinct from incidental activities such as accounting and auditing. A Hong Kong company may apply for offshore income claim if it meets the following prerequisites. It has no business office in Hong Kong and only uses administrative office as a Hong Kong registered office. And it has no staff in Hong Kong and its staff and directors shouldn't come to Hong Kong. Some general rules of surface income and trading profits are discussed below. The source of surface income is location where the surfaces are performed, which give rise to the income. The place where incidental activities were performed prior to or subsequent to the earning of surface income are generally not relevant to determine the source of profits. Now, let's take a look how to determine the source of trading profits. The factor that determines the source of trading profit is generally the place where the contract for purchase and sales are effected. Some relevant points for consideration are listed below. First, where the supplies were procured, and then where the purchase order was initiated, processed, and placed with the supplier, where the purchase contract was negotiated, prepared, and signed, where the customers were solicited, where the purchase order from customers was initiated, processed, and placed with the taxpayer, where the sales contract was negotiated, prepared, and signed, and where goods were stored and the shipment was arranged. Then, let's turn to tax filing of offshore income claim. All Hong Kong companies have legal obligation to do tax filing to Hong Kong Inland Revenue Department, IRD, even the companies are eligible for applying offshore income claim. Please note that offshore income claim is not automatically given by IRD. Moreover, offshore income claim is a year-by-year basis exercise. In other words, successful offshore income claim in 1 year does not automatically guarantee offshore income claim in other years because the companies may change its mode of operation. Taxpayer can submit a claim for offshore income together with its audited accounts and profits tax return to IRD. After receiving the application of offshore income claim, IRD will assess the case and usually will raise questions regarding to the details of taxpayers' mode of operation and request taxpayers' transaction documents of some representative transactions in order to support the offshore income claim. There are some common queries raised by IRD. First, let me share those related to trading profits. They include details of Hong Kong and overseas establishments. An organization chart may be required. Type of goods and for trading and mode of trading. Analysis of purchase by suppliers and sales by customers. Information includes name and address of suppliers and customers, annual transaction amounts, and relationship with taxpayer, its directors, and shareholders. How, where, and by whom the supplies were procured. How, where, and by whom the purchase order was initiated, processed, and placed with supply. Also, how, where, and by whom the customers were solicited. How, where, and by whom the purchase order from customer was initiated, processed, and placed with taxpayer. Payment method for the purchase and sales, and how, where, and by whom the shipment of goods was arranged. Regarding to common queries of surface income, they include details of Hong Kong and overseas establishments, analysis of surface income by client. Information includes name and address of clients, annual transactions amounts, relationship with taxpayer, its directors and shareholders, and basis of computation of surface income. Analysis of significant activities carried out by taxpayer in earning the income, and then how the clients were solicited, how the terms of service agreements were negotiated, how and where the service contracts were prepared and signed, and where the services were provided. This is the end of my presentation. We hope that the information we have shared is useful for you to understand about the company setup and taxation in Hong Kong. Now is the Q&A time, and let me invite Angela to join us again. So let us review the question from the customers first. The first question is how to apply offshore income claim. The offshore income claim is applied when computing the profit tax return by filling in the relevant information. Does offshore income claim apply only once? Offshore income claim is an annual exercise and does not automatically extend to subsequent years even the claim is successful in the year. Therefore, taxpayers should apply each year if they would like to apply the claim. Does the registered office in Hong Kong affect offshore income claim? Provided that the registered office is only for administrative purpose, such as receiving legal and tax correspondence, it does not affect offshore income claim.
For company incorporation and bank account opening in Hong Kong, do I need to come and visit Hong Kong? To set up Hong Kong company, it is not requiring for physical visit. Company registration can be done by online submission or paper filing. While for company bank account opening in Hong Kong, it depends on each bank's requirement and policy. Generally, the bank requests for physical visit to verify the identity in person, and you may contact us for further details and consultation. After incorporate the company, is it requiring for visit Hong Kong to renew the company for the second year? So to renew the company, annual return filing and business registration renewal can be done by secretary on behalf of the Hong Kong company, and director physical visit is not required.
Now let's take a look at the live questions. My trading company sells the goods to foreign customers, but has Hong Kong suppliers. Can I apply for offshore income claim? No, because the purchase activities are carried out in Hong Kong, so that it is not eligible for offshore income claim.
Here's the questions. Where should I keep the significant controllers register for the Hong Kong company? The significant controllers register, SCR, for the Hong Kong company is required to keep at the company's register office or a place located in Hong Kong. And the SCR may be kept in hard copy or electronic form as well.
That's all for our Q&A sessions. Hope that today's webinar can help you to get to know more about Hong Kong company formation and tax exemption. That's the end of today's presentation. Please feel free to contact us for any inquiry. Thank you for your time. We are Korchina TNC and hope to see you again on next webinar. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.